Okay. Afternoon, everybody. Welcome in, or early evening, wherever you may be. This is the Slate. We are a DraftKings show. We take you up until 6 p.m. Eastern time. Just going to see, these are the types of questions I should have asked before we started the show. I'm pretty sure there's no Madden tonight, so we don't have to worry about that. We can go right till 6. There's an NFL game tonight, so we're good there, right? We can confirm that? Correct. Okay, great. So we're going to take you up until 6 o'clock. Wonderful. It is our first Slate show the day after an NFL Sunday. So that's fun. So a lot to overreact to, which has been going on all day, understandably. So we'll try to turn the page a little bit. The purpose of this show, of course, too, is to get you ready for Monday Night Football. One game tonight, not two. That's next week. I don't know. I don't make the schedule. But the Broncos and the Seattle Seahawks are tonight. Russell Wilson's return. And then we'll look ahead to week 2. You might want to get ahead on some of these lines here on the DraftKings Sportsbook. Also, of course, looking ahead in your season longs. Nick Fryer is here. Jeff Ulrich is here. Nick, what's up, man? Thanks for stopping by on a Monday.
Yeah, always a pleasure. Eamon, Producer Eamon always doesn't give me a choice when it comes to it. He just asks me, then I have to show up. So that's kind of how it works. So
he asked you to show up? I mean, that sounds like a question, though.
No, he asked me to show up, but it's like, you have to show up. I didn't word it right because I'm a little nervous kind of calling him out like this.
Oh, well,
Thank you
for making yourself available.
Horrible person.
Someone
He's just you're in his bad book for now for life. Good luck. It's the last time you're gonna see Nick on camera for a while. Anyways,
Jeff, what'd you make of yesterday? Nice game for Trey Lance. Maybe you want to get the MVP odds now.
Oh wow, yeah.
Sorry, I'm being a jerk.
I've been taking Trey Lance digs all day. It's okay. Pierce got me in the morning. You can get me in the afternoon. I don't care. It's a sloppy game. We'll address it right off the top. I mean, I don't know. I don't even think you blame that loss so much on Trey Lance. It's just the 49ers as a whole stinking up the joint and the fact they were playing in a monsoon. Their defense took like 20 penalties, but we'll see. Look, if people want to sell you cheap shares of Trey Lance, I still think you should dip in and buy. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, like, you've got to see it. There's new spots on the NFL. The Packers with no wide receiver. How is that offense going to be explosive again? Are they going to score enough points? You got to see it now. Like, we need to see it. There's other spots like that too. So tonight is a spot where, I mean, if the Broncos don't show up, like, your Cortland Sutton shares and Jerry Jeudy shares are going to look pretty terrible. So that's something like we got to see. How is this going to work? I don't know. Like, this game has a lot of question marks for me. I think it could go in a lot of different directions, but yes, Trey Lance and the 49ers. I still think they're a good bet to win that division. The Cardinals are toast. Like, they're just a free square this year. They honestly, I think the Cardinals are going to be, I think they're going to push for the number 1 draft pick. That's how bad that team is. So it's still going to come down to the Rams and 49ers. We'll see. They got to get this offense in sync at some point. I know, like, the monsoon is an excuse for week 1, but if we come back here week 2, same story. Yeah, I mean, I'll have questions too.
Well, the good news is, and you kind of hit on this just now, but if Seattle loses tonight, the whole division's 0-1. So everyone's starting from
Seattle's,
scratch.
6-1 underdogs. So,
but you know what? Trey Lance did hit the over on his rushing prop, so I was pleased about that one. And then what was the Cardinals? Everybody's talking about how the Chiefs are back, and don't get me wrong, like, I get it, like, they look good and everything, but going into that one, it was like looking at the spread because I was doing picks for all the games, and I'm like, yeah, this one's one of those no-brainers, no questions asked. The Cardinals are an absolute nightmare right now. No way.
Nick Fryer, can you real quick, Nick Fryer, because I know you've worked with Jeff a bunch. Can you get me caught up as far as what are some things you're passionate about this season that you are? What are your, like, bold predictions that either looked really terrible or looked great after 1 week of games?
Well, I'll tell you what. I am now upset with Jeff because he's putting the curse on Najee Harris, because that's my guy in my season long league. I do one season long league with my college buddies, and that is my one guy. And I am so upset right now with the whole foot thing. So that's right now. I have a grudge against Jeff for the entire season.
When did you draft him?
Yeah.
What pick?
I don't want to say it. Oh, seventh overall.
Okay. That's kind of a tough. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, it was around where I could have gotten him, or should have gotten him, but I could have gone in a different direction. But I don't know, looking at the numbers, projections, and everything, it made a lot of sense. And I know he had the foot thing, but I didn't think it was going to pop up again that fast. So I'm still kind of reeling from that and praying that, like, he doesn't have a TJ Watt situation.
I mean, he could still work out. I don't even know if he's going to miss a game. The foot injury with Najee Harris doesn't sound like a big deal. The problem with Harris is They can't run the ball. Their offense isn't scary. Like the teams are just going to be stacking them, coming against them for Mitch, putting pressure on him, putting pressure on Najee Harris. What do you have? 23 rush yards week 1? Like, I mean, I was mainly targeting Harris for the under on the rush yards. He could still be a very, very viable fantasy option just as a receiver.
That's it.
So that's a possibility. But I mean, I'm not going to lie. As someone who has the under on his prop, I'm not like mad that he got banged up week 1. He misses like 1 or 2 games, and that my unders already looking great. But I just thought that was a very strong spot to take an under. Also, if you're taking RB under props, look at their usage from last year. If they're taking like 300 carries or something, like that's generally the guys you want to target for unders the next year. These guys, they wear out quick, man, and they get injured, and it all adds up. So anyways, interesting spot to watch. Good week 1 for me, not so much for Nick.
Yeah, speaking of unders, game totals were significantly, the under was great. Counting Thursday night, 10-5 unders to the total. So I think there's some truth. One thing I've learned is I've got to remember, while yes, in one breath, there's a lot of time for coaches to prepare for their week 1 opponent. The league is so offensive now that if you don't play your dudes in the preseason, we saw this in the Rams-Bills game. These guys are gassed. Like these hot venues, these hot places, like they're gassed because they're not conditioned. And B, they just don't have a lot of reps together, especially with dudes in new places. I say that though, and some of the wide receiver performances, not necessarily with new quarterbacks or new places, but Justin Jefferson, new offensive coach, unbelievable. AJ Brown, unbelievable. St. Brown for the Lions, he was great. Granted, that was his second year with the same system, but wide receivers, man, they popped yesterday, Jeff. I mean, and you're already liking AJ Brown next week for Monday night.
Oh yeah, I mean that's going to be great. I think AJ Brown versus the Minnesota secondary is going to be yikes. But yikes for the secondary. But yeah, every wide receiver one except CeeDee Lamb, who had like 10 targets and 2 catches. Oh my God, what a disaster Dallas is. But yeah, look, I made this point even after like Thursday night. Like it's a pass first league. Like you just you don't want to fade these wide receiver ones. And like Jamar Chase, I don't know if you mentioned him, but like when T. Higgins went out, he just took over that game. Like the Steelers, like 3 guys, and I get it. Like some of these teams, like AJ Brown against the Lions, I get it. Like it's a weak secondary, but like you got to put up some resistance. Like these guys are almost unstoppable, some of them. So, and we've seen the other thing is like we have seen these players. Like AJ Brown's gone off against good teams before. Cooper Kupp did it all season last year. This isn't going to change. You got to play these high-end wide receivers, especially DFS.
Michael Pittman was another one. I mean, it's a game that didn't, it was only 20 points for the Colts, but just some of the individual performances.
Pittman's like usage too. I mean, it's a good point. Like the Colts are basically Jonathan Taylor and Michael Pittman. And yeah, there's going to be some weeks where the Colts are up like 20-0 and Pittman might not get work, but at the same time, like I don't think this team is as good as people think. And there's going to be lots of weeks where Pittman gets like, another 12 targets. So
Christian Kirk looked good too. I mean, just I think don't necessarily if you're watching Red Zone or you're watching the ticker and you see, so-and-so only scored X amount of points today as a team. Just look out though for those wide out ones. Between the trenches, wide outs are still getting plenty of work. These wide out ones that have been paid, which we've named a few of them already, or they're just far and away the best of the pack, like a Pittman, for example. Kirk just got paid. So even some names that are in like a bad division, like or a division we don't really know much about. Like the AFC South.
Yeah, and I'm curious about with Higgins too. I mean, it sounds like we didn't get anything definitive on him today, but it sounds like it's positive what's going on with the concussion and everything like that. Seems like he's trending in the right direction. But that was another guy who I was looking at this weekend, and then he goes and gets a concussion. So I'm clearly snake bitten right now. But I'm curious, how is this going to impact Tyler Boyd going forward? I know was it 4 receptions, 33 catches, but he had the touchdown. Is he going to be primarily touchdown dependent, or is he going to get a lot of those Higgins targets moving forward? Because that could be another one. I know we're focusing on wide receiver ones, but a tertiary guy who go and get you something too. Too,
I thought about this too with Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, which was to me, I think probably the game of the day, which is based on the chaos and the kicks. I know Indy and Houston went to overtime, but what that taught me, or I would be surprised. Any game in that division, haven't we learned in years, in history, those are always games. So if you're getting a touchdown with Pittsburgh, you might want to take the dog in those spots because those games are always not necessarily a coin flip, but they're just freaking crazy coming down to the last play.
Yeah. You have
Like Tomlin's just very good cover coach too. Like to that point.
64%. Yep. 64% is a dog. And he's a dog right now, next week against the Patriots. Let's turn our attention to, we can go get to next week, but Denver, Seattle, any developing thoughts on this game as it nears? The game kicks off at 8:30, 8:15 on ESPN tonight, 5:30 right now, Eastern time.
Yeah.
Jeff, what do you got?
Yeah. So
Nick, go ahead.
Yeah, because I actually wrote up the best bets for DraftKings Nation today on this game. And
Perfect.
One jumped out to me clearly was, I know, Jeff, we were talking beforehand, you didn't feel so great about the spread and everything like that. To me, and that I think the total was the under on the total is where we were leaning to. I was leaning towards the total and taking the under, but my problem was like, I know what Seattle's going to try and do, right? They're going to slow the ball down. They look at what Geno Smith's done. Like when there was a 3 stars that he had last year, they play more conservative and everything like that. They're going to lean on Penny too. So I get all of that, but I also just question, like, is Seattle going to be able to slow them down at all? And Russell Wilson, like, I know sometimes we make too much about revenge games. I am as guilty of that as anybody, being an NBA guy first. But when it comes to these situations, I don't know. He's back at home too, and everything that Seattle meant to him. I just don't think he's going to take his foot off the gas. I know that Denver doesn't have all their pieces. I get that, but he's still got quite a few talented guys to work with. We're still waiting on Hamler's situation, right? He's still questionable, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
Yeah. I haven't heard confirmation about him.
Hamler.
I kind of feel like he's going to play, but because he is practicing, it kind of looked like he's going to be ready for week 1. But like to your point, I mean, like KJ Hamler, we would like him out there, but I don't think it's
expected to play. Just for the record, KJ.
There you go. I don't think it's a big deal. They still have Alberto, who's like basically just a hybrid tight end wideout, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
We got 2 good pass catching backs.
Yeah,
I'll be honest. It's funny, as we're talking and as we're getting closer to game time, I do lean Denver here. Like, I mean, enough of this, like Seattle's going to make it ugly talk, just enough. Like, Denver's a better team. Where is Seattle better than Denver? Like, realistically, maybe they had like second, like the safeties.
Mm-hmm.
Jamal Adams can't cover anyway, so who cares? Like, great. You're going to stuff him up the middle. Russell just burn him on the outside. So I just don't see an area here where, I think to your point, Nick, like if I'm going spread, I think early in the week, I'm trying to be cautious here. It's week 1. I haven't seen Denver yet, but like, I'm not betting against Russ here. Like, there's no way. Maybe take the under just because it could be like, 24-4 or something like that. And maybe Seattle takes the arrow of the ball a bit, but like, at this point, I almost just want to bet, like, go over on Russ, like 1.5 passing touchdowns. And take and pair it with a 1-game parlay with like the Broncos to cover. Like, why not? Right. I mean, you got to take a stance on this game. We don't know what's going to happen. Could it be ugly, and could Seattle win? Sure. Bet Seattle and +6 in the under in that case. But I'm kind of with you, Nick. Like, let's just ride Broncos here week 1 and see what happens. Like, it's a better team.
It feels like it's going to go one way or the other. Like, we're going to get a game,
for sure, will.
Or it's Denver in a landslide.
Mm-hmm. And I like the Russell Wilson 2 touchdowns call. That was one that I was considering. I ended up leaning away from that one in favor of the number of turnovers in the game. And I actually took the under on that one at 1.5. And look, again, I know Geno Smith, like early in his career, very turnover happy. Russell Wilson has kind of been year by year, but even then, I think the highest he was ever at was like 0.8 something. Last year, his career average is like 0.55 per game. So it doesn't really happen a whole heck of a lot. Don't like Seattle's defense in any capacity. And they're conservative with Geno Smith. And then you have running backs, all 3 of them talking about, 2 of Denver's and Rashad. Like, none of those guys really, knock on wood, fumble the ball much. So that was at even money. I like that one a lot too. And instead of the total, I actually went with the under on the Seahawks points. It was at 18.5 on that one. I was really curious what you thought on that one, Jeff.
No, I like that play. Seattle getting to over 17 points.
Yep.
Like, you're going to need like Geno Smith to have like a really good game. And like, is that what you want to rely on? Either that, or like their defense is going to have to come up with a play, which you're playing a low turnover quarterback, historically low, over his career. Like you said, I mean, Denver could get up in this spot and Javonte Williams just takes over. And then it's just like,
it's at 19.5 now on DraftKings. Jeez. That's up a whole point.
Wow.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm just saying.
No, that's, I mean,
pretty significant.
Look, and the other thing is, like, can we get this up to 20? Like, can we play an alternate total? Like, just pay it up.
Everyone together now.
Like 20 is the key number here with the NFL. Like, I mean, let's just pay up and get it to 20, and then we'll take the under. Even
going back
20
to
and a half. Like
the parlay that the Russell Wilson play you were talking about before, Jeff. I'm curious if we can do that as the same game parlay. Russell Wilson over 1.5 touchdowns. And
I don't see why we couldn't.
Well, I'm surprised sometimes with the way like there's a lot of great options and there's stuff that pops up.
No, I know, but you're right. Like we can't do anything we want, but we can. Oftentimes we can't almost do anything.
Yes.
Okay. Russell Wilson passing touchdowns.
Yeah. So 2+. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. What's that? Minus 195 on there.
Get rid of the under. Seahawks points.
And then got to go to team props. Yep. Let's see. Scoring props.
Team stat props.
I think it's
no, it would be like team scoring props or something. Game props.
Oh, here we go.
Oh no. Okay.
Here.
No, it's here we go. Yep. There is over 20. No, that's Denver.
That's Denver.
There we go.
So we went under.
So under
20.5.
So yep, there you go, right there. Boom.
Okay, plus 160.
That's pretty good little one right there. It's a good call. Good call, Jeff.
So to hit, and by the way, our friend Julian Edlow, who does fine work as well, he just posted the most bet props for tonight's game, Denver, Seattle, the Russell Wilson prop of 1.5, 1.5 touchdowns on the over. That is the most bet prop tonight. So you get
see, this is why this game is getting me twisted, because Denver's a publicly bet team.
Yeah, big time.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like, I mean, like you don't have to get off every publicly bet team. Like you just don't. Like sometimes it's just a mismatch. Like it's just there for a reason, right? It was kind of like that with Buffalo week 1. I mean, I kind of overthought it, and like I knew Buffalo was like a better team than the Rams. I've been talking the Rams on all off season, and I get here and I'm like, oh yeah, like you got to take the points with the Rams for week 1, and look what happens, right? So no, I mean, I'm not going to do that this time. Whatever. I'm just not betting. I'm just not really in the mood to play the other side of this. But whichever way you do, like I said, I think you play it hard. Like I think you go. If you're going to play for an under total, like you maybe go under Russell Wilson's passing totals. Maybe you go under Geno Smith passing totals, because if you're playing for an under total, it's probably going to be it is going to be an ugly game. And maybe you look for like rush attempts or something like that. But yeah, this one, just like you said, feels like it's got two vastly different directions. Broncos in an absolute just mashing or just a close, ugly game.
I'm just trying not to lose sight when Russ got hurt last year, how dreadful the Seattle team was on offense. Yeah. It was awful. And like
pretty bad.
If Geno Smith had a different coach and he was in maybe a new play, I mean, he's already kind of had his shot. I get that. Isn't the book out on Geno? Like Mitchell Trubisky, right? Everyone rags on Mitch Trubisky. Okay, new coach, winning culture. Like you're giving that a chance, right?
I mean,
I'm saying you're more willing, maybe.
Sure.
Than
I mean, I guess
it feels like the book's out on Geno.
I guess it's just my thing that I'll give Mitch Trubisky is he played for the Chicago Bears before, and I was out there for long enough to know like how miserable that franchise is. I mean, I'll never forget when they extended Jay Cutler, whatever the heck it was, and all my Chicago friends were all excited, and I was like, "Are you guys stupid? Like, have you watched him play before? Like, why are you excited about this?" And like, we've never had a quarterback who can really throw the football. So just like, let us have this. All right. So like, that's, they just don't know what they're doing.
Okay. Well, I don't mean to make it a Mitch Trubisky conversation. My take is before Russell Wilson was in Seattle, they signed Matt Flynn and he didn't win the job and Russ bailed him out. And since then we haven't seen anything competent at quarterback for Seattle since Russ was hurt last year.
Yeah. I mean, he had it was the finger issue though for him, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah. It was an injury. Right.
That's a pretty substantial thing for a guy where like, using your hand for everything that you're doing. But I mean, like, and
whose finger?
Wilson's finger.
That's my point. I'm saying Geno last year, that outfit, we saw what it looked like last year. It was gross.
He also just stinks. Like that's, I think that's the problem. Like there's just,
I mean, like, and again, like that's why that point total on Seattle. I mean, for Seattle to get to 24 points or like, even like 21, I mean, they need either like a fluke play or just like basically Geno Smith's like best game of the season. Yeah. Like that's kind of what it feels like. And it's not like they're going up against slubs here. Like this isn't Detroit. Denver's a top 10 passing defense. They've got the guys on the outside to like contain Metcalf. A little worried about Tyler Lockett floating around in the slot there, but like or maybe Noah Fant doing something, but like, I don't know, man. Like there's only so much you can worry about in life. I mean, I feel like Denver's going to be a good enough defense here to really slow this down. They've also improved their D line, so they could just be, they could pile up the sacks here. I mean, it's not like Seattle's offensive line has ever been good.
Mm-hmm.
And oh no, I was thinking about the Jets. But anyways, I was going to say there's someone else, but this is Dwayne Brown. He's in the Jets. Yeah. It's anyways. It like, yeah, that under just screams to me.
And look, I'm biased from the way this first week looked. I mean, just like Jeff said, this is not like they're playing. This is a quality opponent, a quality defense, the healthiest it will be all year. Pittsburgh, while it lost Watt, they looked phenomenal defensively in week 1. Tampa Bay last night, great example. I know the Cowboys have their issues up front, but just if you take a good defense with a offense that is got some promise, or it's not fully up to speed yet, full game under makes sense, and I think a team total under here makes a lot of sense for this game. So, all right, well, we'll see. All the money, most of the money coming in on Denver on the spread too, and the total, yeah, that's over 44 is getting most of the love too. So we'll see. That's crazy though. That number's been moving all afternoon. Now, Seattle moving up. Okay, we have still have 20 minutes or so to look ahead, week 2. And we can use what we learned in week 1. Week 2 is always a fascinating spot, fellas, because, when you look at just underdogs, they tend to do really well week 1 because those lines are sharp. Those lines are coming out early in the summer, end of the summer, if you're really pouncing on games early. And then there's that buildup, as we discussed off the top, that takes you up until the actual game. And you can look at it 2 ways. Each team has a lot of time to prepare for one another. But then you might not also look your best because you didn't play a whole lot in the preseason. Underdogs in week 1, historically, since 2005, have covered the spread just 50. They've covered 56% of the time. Going into week 2, though, we don't want to overreact too much to week 1. So with all that in mind, and we have some great games. Thursday night's a great game. Chargers, Chiefs. We talked about the Monday night slate before we got on. Buffalo, Tennessee, and then Minnesota, Philly, all 1-0 teams. Jeff, I'll go to you first. Anything that's jumping out to you for week 2?
So week 2 is always a good opportunity week, in my opinion. Like you can get some real overreaction spots. Teams that are just, they sucked week 1, and then their spread is just jointed by, basically public opinion one way or the other. I still think like I'm still on Team Saints here. Like you give me the Saints plus 3 points at home. But what have the Saints done since Tom Brady came to Tampa Bay? Like they've beat up on them, and now Godwin's out. Mm-hmm. I get that the Bucs won last night, and like Tom Brady,
Dude, we called this in mid-August. We were like, all right, they're both going to be 1-0.
Yeah. I mean, I've been waiting for this game. Brandon knows I've been waiting for this game. And it's really set up perfectly for me because like the Saints look like they lost week 1, and then they get the comeback victory off the arm of Jameis Winston with the new receivers, with Mike Thomas back, with the new head coach. And then you got, again, the Bucs, they win on prime time. So everyone's high on them, but they also lose Godwin. Like it's just the perfect storm to just lay it all on the Saints at plus 3. Give me 3 points at home. Yeah, I'm taking it. So that's the spot I've been waiting for. But there's a couple other out here.
Hold on one sec, real quick. Has Jameis Winston? Is this his first game against Tampa since he left? With New Orleans, as a member of the Saints.
Didn't they play them early last year? I think they did. When Winston, before he got hurt, I swear they did.
That was my question, if he was hurt or not at the time they played each other last year. I don't remember him playing, but
I'm going to tell you in 1 sec.
Well, either way, I think they won the game that you're talking about.
That was the game he got hurt. And Trevor Siemian came in and finished it off. Okay, so there you go. All right.
Did the Saints win that game?
Yeah, they did.
That was like the 9-6 game or something.
No, that was later in the year. That was the one Taysom Hill started. It was like the ugliest game of the season, and they won 7-0 or something, or 9-0 off Taysom Hill. But yeah, Winston, they actually won that game. Winston went out like in the second quarter.
27.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. There you go.
I mean, So that one sticks out.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, I
mean, Nick, I don't know. Yeah, go over Nick. I got a couple other ones, but I'll
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just looking at that one because I was on the Falcons last weekend, and I mean, I know it's 1-point game. See, here's the thing: I was on the
Falcons are a good spread bet. I mean,
right, but obviously
you'd almost rather Atlanta beat the Saints by 12, whenever the score was at the time, and then you get a better number against Tampa. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe.
Like, I was against Tampa that was the dumb mistake that I made. I went back to freaking Cowboys. I never did that. Because I mean, I know it was a nightmare situation the way everything kind of transpired on there. But that's where I'm just looking at afterwards. You're right, Jeff, about Godwin 100%. But it's just like we were talking about before how Brady was looking and everything. I know they didn't score a whole hell of a lot, but I don't know. I still need a little bit of time to assess that game.
Third down was not good though last night for Tampa. Not good. Third down.
Tampa's red zone was like they kind of got shut down too.
Yep. So. Leonard Fournette played the game of his life since the Super Bowl when they beat the Chiefs. Yep. So who knows if he can do that again? He could. Yep. He's heard a lot of the critics about his body and how he looked coming in. But Godwin's important. I think what Jeff's getting at, over the middle, traffic catches, moves. I mean, you need a 3rd and 8 at the opponent 35. He's your guy. Evans made a hell of a catch, of course, in the end zone, but the importance of Godwin, yeah, and Julio Jones. I mean, Julio Jones looked pretty good. That looks like it work. But yeah, I think the Saints here. I mean, I don't know how you feel good about Tampa going in there and.
I mean, like, look, but Jameson's so volatile. Like, he can go, like, he can ruin the game in 2 seconds completely. So I mean, like, I backed him going into the past weekend.
I mean,
I had him in DFS. But I was on the Falcons on the spread. It worked out. I don't know. I don't trust him necessarily. And I just need a little bit of time. I'm not as bullish as Jeff is. I get you've been like on it the whole time, and I respect that.
I'm not a Jameis Winston guy, but I do respect what he's done with the Saints. Like, I think it's just one of those things, like, it's just a perfect fit. He's got receivers who can get really wide open for him, and he's got the live arm to throw downfield that Drew Brees didn't, right? So yeah, if we were asking like Jameis Winston to be like, pinpoint passer here and like, lead a ragtag crew of receivers, that'd be a different story. But like, he's got Kamara to lean on. He's got all these dudes. I just think it's a good setup for him. I don't know. Like, I'm definitely not a Jameis Winston fan. Trust me. I was probably like the only one on Twitter being like, this guy's terrible when he got drafted first overall. He's not worthy of like a first overall draft pick. And really he hasn't been, but he's still like got a lot of talent. And I think in the right spot, which he's in right now, he can produce enough. And like, I mean, I've seen enough. Like, I think we've got a big enough sample. So anyways, I just like this line. I think +3. I think these teams should be closer to like, like a pick 'em or something like that at home. I mean, we're basically saying that Tampa Bay is like 6 points better than the Saints, like straight up with the Saints being +3 at home. Like, that's just, to me, like, these two teams defense, both top 10. Like, is it the Saints added all this offense? They just did a comeback win on the back of their offense. Like, I think it's good vibes for the Saints.
You should be worried though that it's not Tom's bedtime at 1:00. When Tom plays the Saints at night, he's got to go to bed. I mean, then again, he won last night. That whole narrative of Brady needs to go to bed early. He won last night.
This isn't even a Brady fade. Like, it's not. I mean, it's not even like a personal thing. It's just, I just think that the Bucs have a few issues, and the Cowboys certainly were not the team to expose those issues. But
Cowboys suck.
Brady got sacked a couple times. The red zone offense wasn't that good. Like you said, now they're going up against a legit rush defense. If Fournette can't carry that team and there's no Godwin, I don't want to trust the Bucs to like be able to air it out and like win a game that way against the Saints.
It's fair.
Okay. I'll tell you what, though, we were talking about it earlier. I mean, the two games to me right now that I'm liking, one is the Steelers, the Patriots. I mean, I don't know how the Patriots are favored in this one right now. Like, that
was twisting me up.
Look, I will say, like, the Patriots, if they play the Dolphins in September, historically they suck. Like, that I don't know, have the numbers in front of me. I just know that that they tend to
2-8 in their last 10. So against the spread or straight up at Miami, something like that.
Brutal. And earlier in the year is when it's really the big issue for them. So I was a hard fade on them. That was one of the easier picks for me over the last week. The other one too that I like a lot. I know the Commanders just won and they covered against the Jaguars, but I don't know how I feel about the Jaguars right now. But the Lions at home, I do like them after putting up a 35 spot against the Eagles.
Lions defense is bad though. Oh
yes.
But maybe, again, like that was against the Eagles and
game.
Jalen Hurts and a really versatile offense. So I think I'm probably going to be with you on the Lions. Maybe want to see if we can get that spread down to like, maybe 1.5. But I'm going to have to go against with like, you guys are on the Steelers then.
I am right now.
Yeah.
Not yet.
I think I'm going to have to go against you guys here. I watched every second of that Bengals Steelers game. Okay. I mean, I've watched most of the games by now, but I still got a couple to go through. But like, Steelers were not good in that game. They jumped out. They had a couple that, and to Tomlin's credit, they used Trubisky well in the opening couple series. They really caught Cincinnati off guard. But after that team was awful in pretty much every phase. And like Deontay Johnson was out there making a few plays and Freiermuth, but like, I don't want to trust this team to replicate a win. I mean, they should have lost that game, first of all, like multiple times. And that they got 5 turnovers and they still should have lost that game. Like they were like 1% chance to win with like no time left on the clock. So I don't want to trust this team. Like I think that the Patriots with their rush game, I think you'll see this team bounce back. I really do. I mean, I'm going to trust Belichick. I've seen it too many times with the Patriots. Oh, they're done. It's over. And then the next week it's like, oh, how did the Patriots? Yeah. So I'm going to wait for this line. I hope it does flip. I hope we get like, this could flip big time.
I think it will. I think it will.
Yeah, I think it will too. I'm probably going to have the Patriots next week. And I don't love it because I don't like the way they looked either. But like, I think this is one of those spots where you buy in on a team. Again, it's for a week. I'm not saying the Patriots long-term are my favorite here, but Pittsburgh, man, and no TJ Watt.
We just got an update on Najee.
That would be my angle on it, is the defense of Pittsburgh being banged up. And then, of course, we talked Harris earlier in the show. But look, that outfit, the Patriots don't have any – there's no skill guy that you fear. And the coaching decisions of Belichick are what concerns me. Yes, he schemes it up game to game, but Mike Tomlin's – I look at the coaching matchup as a wash now because I think Tomlin's just as good. And Tomlin doesn't have to face Brady, that guy Brady anymore. But yeah, Jeff, the Patriots. Okay, if you back New England, you better hope they're up 7-0, or because they can't come from behind. This team needs the way Bill wants to play, this Shanahan system he wants to install now. Sure. All of a sudden, and a second-year quarterback, they need a lead. They get down. This is what the thing
is. The exact same rule applies to the Steelers.
To the Steelers. That's fair. That's fair. And you're right, because they had a lead and they blew it, or they nearly blew it. They kind of did blow it. They shouldn't have gone to overtime. They should have.
They definitely blew it.
Yes.
By the way, Steelers, Najee Harris, I don't know if you're seeing it, Clash, but it looks like foot injury came back negative, and there's belief that, according to sources from Schefter, he should be good to go Sunday against the Patriots.
Jeff, tell him what you told me in August. What did we learn about Liz Frank?
Oh. What did we learn about it? I don't know. What did I tell you?
It doesn't go away.
No, for sure. Yeah, right. Yeah, it lingers.
Yes, it does. Yep.
Foot injury. As soon as I heard that, I'm like, this.
That's when he bet it, Nick.
Yeah. No, it's smart. It's a smart move. And I will say though, like again, I want a little bit of time on this Patriots one because my gut is like we're going with what Glass is talking about. However, Jeff, you are also right. Like I hate the idea of having to trust the Steelers. Although I was leaning the Steelers to cover over this past weekend. But the thing is that I don't know, they're just so bad. But the thing is the Patriots, they are bad in September in Miami. And I feel like that may be like,
look, the Steelers are great as road underdogs. Like, week 1, it was definitely right to fade the Patriots and go with the Steelers. And week 2, again, like I think you buy into the overreaction here if the market's going to get on Pittsburgh. We'll wait and see how it goes. Man, there's some interesting matchups here. Like, what are we doing with like Miami, Baltimore? Are we trusting Miami? I think I'm going to be trusting Miami here at 3.5. No Kyle Fuller. Like Fuller's out for the Dolphins. You're down a quarterback, and now you got Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle coming to town.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's high on Lamar. Everyone's high on Lamar. Like I like Lamar too. He can't play defense. I mean. Right.
Miami's
we saw this problem with the Ravens last year. We saw this problem with the Ravens last year.
And Tua, he wasn't great. Like I thought McDaniel put him in some really bad situations at the end of the game. Like hand the ball off, protect the kid a bit. It was odd. Like McDaniel almost wanted the Patriots to get back in that game. While it would have been difficult, it just was odd.
It seemed like he was kind of like, he was just being like, this is what we're doing. We're passing. We're going to use our weapons. And he just, he didn't really play to the game situation, as you said, but I don't mind that. I mean, again, like you
try to build him up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kid up. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like going with that one, though, Jeff.
Fair point.
I think I'm with you right now early on the Dolphins because they all.
Yeah, it's early. Like again, like I'm not 100% on this, but my early lean would be, well, let's stick with the Dolphins here. I was never as big on the Ravens as other people. Obviously, Lamar's great in week 1, but like it's the exact same thing. Like they lost the guy in the secondary. Their secondary, to me, everyone was talking them up. Like it's fine, but like saying it like you can't pass against them or something, I don't know. Seems a little bit much. And with Fuller out, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna take a hard look at this one for sure.
Okay. Real quick, couple more before we go. Some big dogs in this game. Rams in a bounce back spot potentially. We'll see what Denver looks like tonight. They're double-digit favorites already. What's up with Nick? I think you may have brought this up, or you were going to go there, but are the Raiders 5.5 point favorites against Arizona? Like that feels a little strong, doesn't it?
So one of the teams that I've been like way too bullish on, and like not in the bullish in the sense like they're going to go and win the whole thing or whatever, but I feel like they're going to surprise people, has been the Raiders. So like I don't fully feel like I have a good read on them right now, but I have zero respect for the Cardinals right now, what they have going on. So this one's a tough one for me right now, but I am leading Raiders because I just don't like, as much as the Chiefs look good, I just think that we're giving them a little more credit they deserve because the Cardinals are worse than the Chiefs are good right now.
Yep. Cardinals are just a team that I think I think that honestly, I think they might be the worst team in the league. Like I without Kyler Murray, this team would be the worst.
That's a hot take. Like they just gave Kyler a ton of money, and of course the jokes about his study habits.
I mean, look at their wide receiver depth chart. Like it's just so barren. It's terrible. Their secondary, they were bringing guys in off the street in training camp, like right before the season. It's bad, man. Like they have nothing. They have no answer for Devontae Adams. Yeah, the more I think about this, the Raiders put up a pretty good fight against the Chargers. Like the Chargers are a really good team. At the very least, the Raiders had a shot, like a possession to go down, score a touchdown. They didn't get it done. Mm-hmm. It's not a big deal. The Chargers are a good team. They've got quality players on defense. Derek Carr, Devontae Adams. Who on Arizona is going to stop that? Like,
I love it. I was going to think the other way around. I love this. So in this case, wait, because I feel like Arizona might get some love here with that 5.5. Folks might think, yeah, Kyla, take the points. And then boom, you might get them at 4.
I mean, you could be right. I mean, I think that's, let me see where Edlo's got the early lines up here.
Okay.
On his Twitter.
Here we go.
God, you're right. People are jumping on the Cardinals.
Yeah. I mean, come on. I'm just trying to think like a public mind.
No, wait. Okay. That was the total. Sorry. People are jumping on the over. The handle is on the Raiders. Actually opened at 4.5. So it's already up to 5. If you like this.
Wow. Okay. I wasn't right.
Yeah, it's probably, I mean, like people could, I think what you'll see happen with this line is it'll probably get up. It might even go push to like 6, and then you'll probably see money come back in on the Cardinals. Because at some point, like you said, people go, well, it's Kyler on the other side. He'll keep it close. Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. Like I don't. The Raiders defense isn't anything special. So that's the one thing. Like, you could see Kyler run around a bit. Maybe Marquise Brown goes.
Justin Herbert had his way a bit yesterday too.
Let's absolutely. Like the Raiders defense. I mean, I don't want to talk up the Raiders too much, but like, it's an interesting game. I admit, like this isn't like a crazy spot, but I gotta lean Raiders. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe go over Raiders team total too. I don't know.
Okay.
That'd be something.
All right. That's all the time we have though, fellas. We need to we got to get out of here. It flies by. It always does. These football shows always fly by because you got like the reaction tonight, and then you look ahead to next week. It's the best. Jeff said this earlier in the summer, and I think he said it again on Twitter. Like this league is so dumb to like bet on and like play game lineups, but it's just.
I mean, it's dumb. It's also, I mean, like we got to look at the early week efficiencies. I mean, for me, I still think
I say that tongue in cheek, but I just like saying it like that.
I mean, I think my early week leans right now: Dolphins, Saints, and other everything else, and Patriots potentially. But everything else just kind of waiting to see maybe where the lines push.
Okay, we'll have all week too to get ready for. We have Kansas City and LA this Thursday. We didn't even talk about that game, but that'll be fun. Plenty of time this week to react or discuss that game, and then 2 great games next Monday night, a week from today. So, the slate returns tomorrow at 5 Eastern time on DraftKings YouTube, Twitch, and also over on the DK Nation Twitter. The Sweat airs at 11 a.m. We'll catch you then tomorrow. See ya.